Advocate Skeepers.
Thank you, Chair. I'm ready to proceed. And the next witness is Mr. Denim Krokwana. He's in the red bundle, the continuation of volume 5 at page 734, capital A. 734A.
5. Let me close this for now. Is this mine? Just that. Page
734A.
Seven, 3, 4. This one. Is this one? Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Chair.
How do you pronounce your name, surname correctly?
Denim, that's my first name. Krokwana is my last name.
Oh,
Krokwana.
Kwana. Yes. Do you have any objection against taking an oath?
No.
In that case, do you say that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth and nothing else? And if so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Miss, I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce your surname correctly, Mr. Krokwana. I'm sorry. Please state your position and your work position and where you are stationed.
I am the Director of Court Operations for the Eastern Cape Division of the High Court, and I am based at East London.
How many years have you been the Director of Court Operations?
From the 1st of August 2019.
In 2022, who did you report to?
I have dual reporting lines. I report to the Judge President and to Court Administration at National Office.
So the respondent in this matter is also one of your reporting.
That is correct.
Do you also know Ms. Mengo in this matter?
Yes, I do.
How?
She once reported to me as well when I was still based at Makhanda High Court.
Now, you are aware of this proceedings and the nature of the proceedings. What do you know personally about this proceedings? Was anything reported to you?
Yes, Ms. Mengo reported the matter to me towards the end of November 2022.
How did she report it to you?
telephonically.
What did she say?
She said the judge president was sending her messages that she found inappropriate.
Yes.
And she further mentioned an incident which she wasn't sure as to whether it took place on the 14th or 15th in the JP's chambers.
Of which month? The 14th or 15th of which month and year?
Of November 2022.
Why do you say she was not sure about the 14th or the 15th?
It's because I wanted to be sure exactly on which date did the incident take place. Was it on the 14th or on the 15th? Because I was also at Mtata on the 14th. That is why I wanted to get clarity. And she said she wasn't certain between the two dates.
What did she report to you about the incident in the chambers, if anything?
She said that she was called by the JP to his chambers. And once they got into the chamber, she says the JP said that she should see the effect that she has on him.
Did she report anything else that happened in chambers?
At that stage, she said she quickly ran out.
Yes. What else did she report to you over the telephone?
I asked her as to how she would like the matter to be handled.
Yes.
And she said all she wants is that the judge president should apologize and make an undertaking that he wouldn't send her any messages that are inappropriate. And she said she would love that I organize a round table so that the matter can be discussed.
Did she inform you who she wanted present during this round table?
Yeah, she mentioned she preferred some female judges. I can't remember all the names. But my interest first was to ensure that I get the buy-in from both parties. That is, both parties agree on the idea of a round table.
Yes.
And I undertook to embark on that process. And I was liaising between the judge president and her until the incident when Miss Mengo put up the WhatsApp messages that were exchanged between her and the JP on her status.
Her WhatsApp status.
Yes. That process fell through.
The roundtable
The
process.
roundtable process fell through because of that. As soon as I became aware that there were these messages that were put on Miss Mengo's status, I called her. I think I might not have been able to get her the first time I called, and then she returned the call. I said, on the strength of what has happened, the idea of a round table is off the table. The idea of the round table is off the table in the light of what has happened, and that she should consider following a formal process. And I advised national office accordingly. National office got in touch with her, and the next call I received was to tell me the call I received from national office was that we should arrange for her to go to Midrand at our national office.
You don't know what happened in Midrand, is that correct?
No, I don't.
So the roundtable never happened.
The roundtable never happened. I should also record that a day before the WhatsApp messages were put up, I engaged a little bit with Ms. Mengo and also with the judge president, and I managed to get a nod from his side that he is prepared to be part of the round table, but he came up with some terms, for instance, that the meeting should be limited to the three of us. That is myself, himself, and Miss Mengo. But unfortunately, before I could even convey that issue of the WhatsApp messages, we woke up to the very next day.
Thank you, Chair. There's just one thing that I want to show you. This was also shared with the previous, Mr. Chete. It's just a screen of the video footage of the CCTV footage. I just want to find out if you can identify that what is shown on the screen now. Do you recognize this the still photo that's shared on the screen now?
Yes, I recognize that.
What is that? Can you just describe so that the panel also have a good understanding of what this is depicting?
It's a passage that side of the court manager's office and also the JP's office at Mthatha High Court.
All right, if you can just show us, there's two doors here in the beginning on the left-hand side. Whose doors are those?
I'm not familiar with that building, so I wouldn't be sure whose doors are those two.
All right, but you said the JP's office is also there. Which one is the JP's office?
The one right there at the corner.
That one where the arrow is now.
Yes.
What is in front of the door there? Do they use that door? Do you know?
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Not from
But
where I'm sitting. I'm not sure.
that a corridor goes around the corner, is that correct?
That is correct.
Do you know what is around that corner?
It's other offices.
And are there any CCTV cameras on that side as well?
I don't know. I don't know, but there should be.
There should be, but
yes,
you're not
I
sure.
don't know.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. That is all that I have for this witness.
Advocate Skippers, you are referring us to a still video. We are just inquiring as to whether this particular video, is it part of the record? Do you want it to be handed in? Say, for example, this matter goes on appeal and so forth. The appeal court wants the records of this information.
Yes, this video will be handed in with the next witness, Mr. Naidu.
Okay, thank you.
Advocate Butlander.
Thank you, Chair. I don't have any questions for the witness.
Mr. Madonsela.
Chair, I have a few questions for this witness, but the witness went beyond the ambit of what Malene and Friend have discussed. This witness will traverse. So I need to stand down a matter so that I collect other documents that I will have to put through to this witness, which are not immediately available to me.
How much? How many minutes do you want us to wait?
10 minutes, 15 minutes?
Okay. You'll call us when you are ready, but it shouldn't be beyond
It can be.
10 minutes. We adjourn. Thank you. Mr. Madonsela, I think.
Chair, might I please be of assistance and ask the chair to pull out volume 1, page 162. But at the same time, ask the panel members not to take away volume 5, because I'll be referring to pages 736 and 754 during the course of my cross-examination.
Okay.
Uh, Good day, Mr. Kokwana. Kokwana. Can I, so that I don't bite my tongue, can I just call it denim? With the permission, Chair. Denim, you were in Umtata on the 14th of November, 2022, as you testified, not so?
That is correct.
Why were you at Umtata in particular? Umtata High Court?
It's because there was a meeting which was scheduled by the judge president with Judge Majiki, and also there were other judges who attended the meeting. I had to explain certain benefits of the judges.
The SNTs?
SNT being one of them, and also the traveling when a judge is invited to a conference, maybe by a legal body.
Yes. In this matter, you have deposed to a number of affidavits, not so?
Two,
Sorry?
I deposed to one affidavit, and then I was requested to deal with something, and I did that. So I would say two.
Two affidavits.
Yes.
Now, I counted four. Let me just take you to some of them. You deposed to an affidavit on 1st February 2023 in relation to the intimidation case. You remember there was a
Yes.
criminal case dealing with the allegations that Ms. Mango had been asked to withdraw the charge or the complaint. You remember that criminal case?
Yes, I remember that, but I don't regard it as part of this one.
What
That is why I said I deposed to two as far as I can remember for this one.
Yes. The other one, of course, is one that you deposed to on the 12th of July 2023, dealing with the internal, what I can call internal complaint
Yes.
with the OCJ. Not so?
Yes.
And then the other statement that you deposed to is this, it's an affidavit dated the 27th of November 2024, which is at Chair at page 469 of volume 5. In this case.
Yes.
So 469.
Now, 469 is in volume 3. It's that I just made a duplicate, the one that I referred to this morning to 734A. I made a duplicate just for easier for us to follow, but it's the same one on 469 volume 3.
Thanks.
So in starting with the initial affidavit you made, or maybe the more recent one, it seems to me that the complainant has never clarified, never clarified to you, and I'll take you through the documents in a moment. When exactly does she say the indecent exposure or the effect on me incident occurred, not so?
No, when it was 14th and 15th, so it was not clarified in that manner.
And but in the grievance, why would we be in difficult to understand when it occurred, because in the grievance itself, can I take you to the grievance? It is at volume 1.
Chair, can I interrupt for a
Page-
minute, please? So I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Ms. Wanita. Can I just place on record that that this grievance, the criminal injury charges, were not anything that were put to my client at the time she gave evidence. I'm not sure where Advocate Madansela is going, but I just want to place on record that wasn't that those papers, those affidavits, were not put to her during her evidence. But I'll see where we go and object further should that be necessary.
They were actually not dealt with by Advocate Skippers. Those papers, those documents. Mr. Madonse, isn't it so that
Yes, it is so.
those papers were actually not dealt with?
Yes, but I mean, he says he was not sure about, the witness is saying he was not sure about whether it occurred on the 14th or 15th. So I'm just testing what he knew at that time when the grievance was made.
Chair, the witness is not saying he's not sure about the date. He says the complainant was not sure about the date. That's what he testified. He was sure about the date. He was there on the 14th, but when she reported to him, she was not sure whether or not it happened on the 14th or the 15th.
So who is not sure? Who was sure?
The complainant was not sure when she reported it to him because he wanted to clarify. Because he was present on the 14th, that's why I wanted to clarify whether it happened on that day when he was also there or the next day. And then she indicated to him, that's what he testified, that she could not remember whether or not it was the 14th, or was not sure whether or not it was 14 or 15. Not this witness.
Can I just ask the question because there's no objection yet?
Maybe there is.
Yes.
Advocate Skippers, I suppose you are not saying either that whereas the complainant was certain not to have been sure whether it was the 14th or the 15th.
Chair, the question that was put to this witness was that he was not sure whether or not it was the 14th or the 15th. That is not what he testified. He testified when the complainant reported to him telephonically, she indicated to him that she was not sure whether or not it was the 14th or the 15th.
Yes.
So it's not correct to say that he was not sure.
About what?
When he testified, when he testified, he was sure that she reported to him that there was an incident either on the 14th or the 15th.
Yes.
He's sure about that.
Correct, yes.
But to say to him that he was not sure when the incident took place is not correct to put it that way to him. It should
But he's not sure when the incident. He himself is not sure when the incident happened.
That is correct, but the way the question was put to him says that he testified that he was not sure about the date. But it's not.
No, that cannot be correct.
That's correct. Yes, that's my objection, Chair.
Yes.
Can I maybe rephrase the question for progress?
Yes, please.
In her grievance, which we see at page 736, I don't know whether you have that volume.
Sorry, but we go back to Advocate Butlander's point, isn't it?
Yes.
Where I don't know whether she's objecting or just for the record, but she's pointing out that it might not be fair for you to put to the witness the contents of that document which were not placed before us or put to the complainant. Do I summarize you correctly?
Yes, that's correct. I think it's fine for Advocate Madansela to ask this witness questions about his own knowledge. I'm just making the point that if there's evidence that you want to put to him that was not put to my client, I will object to that. And going through those documents, she was not taken through those documents. But of course, it'll depend question by question.
Yes, and can I just go to the complaint itself? Maybe we can
Yes, there may be
make
an easier
progress
way
here.
to achieve the same purpose.
Yes, let's just go to the complaint itself. Do we have volume 1 in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Can I ask you to go to page 11?
Yes.
Juan, are you familiar with this document? It starts at page 2 and it ends at page 15.
Yes.
Now, this is the complaint which was laid by Ms. Mengo against the respondent. And I'm taking you to page 11, paragraph 20.
I'm at it.
It starts with the words, it was on Monday, 14 November, he, referring to the JP, called me to his chambers and asked me, why am I wearing colorful clothes when it is a court day? I told him I'm not going to court, but my colleague is. He said he was concerned about the decorum and not saying that my clothes were not appropriate. This was not offensive, I must say, and I was not the only one present on that day. Then he continues in the next sentence. On the following, a day later, that is now a day later after the 14th of November, which is the 15th of November, he sees me walking down the corridor and imitates how I walk, didn't comment. I walked past instead on my way back, and the paragraph continues to deal with the incident of what I call the effect on me incident. So what I was putting to you is that given what she stated in the complaint, she made it clear, did she not, that the incident, the effect on me incident was on a day later after the 14th of November, which is the 15th of November, not so?
Yes, that's correct.
And so when you deposed your affidavit in February on the 1st of February, the initial affidavit, or in July 2023, you knew about the existence of this complaint and the dates which she narrated incidents occurred, not so?
Yes.
Sorry, which affidavit?
Of the 12th of July.
July 20.
23. So in that affidavit, if we were to go to it, Chair, you'll find that affidavit. It's not. Yeah. Is it part of the document?
Advocate Skippers, you know where that affidavit is?
Is that the one that you are referring to, 469 in volume 3, but also in volume 5, the one that we referred to this morning, 734 capital A? I just made a duplicate so that we don't go around in all the volumes.
The one dated, oh, no, it's a different one. He's talking about the July one and not November one. We are trying to help you, but you must help yourself as well.
That's why I was saying that. That's why I asked for a stand down and I asked us to come back quickly because I do not want to waste time on the documents. If it had been known that we have to prepare the documents, we would have made them available. But that's why we seek assistance now that we want to have the witness to get through this quickly.
As to where you want to locate the affidavit of the 12th of July, 2023.
Yes. Chair, maybe can I just move quickly on this subject because I might read the document. And
maybe
then,
you can.
And then get on with the matter. It's a small issue, really, which may not need you. I may place the affidavit in front of you later.
Yes. But is it possible to tell us what it is about and you want to put it to the witness?
Yes.
What is it that you want?
It says.
Before you do that, can I just clarify? We don't have that document. It's not in our papers. And I'm just, does it not come from one of the documents that wasn't put to her, the docket or the something else? Or can you help me find it?
It must be coming from some other document. Yeah.
No, but I mean, we need to know where it is. The page that was missing is a November affidavit. That's the one that you said you didn't have, that Advocate Skippers gave both of us before we broke. So that's November. And this one is July, I understand. And where do I find that in the papers?
Well, maybe let me do it this way. Can I ask that we use the November affidavit?
Sure.
Maybe we can then get rid of the other one that cannot be located. At page 469. I'm talking about the 27 November 2024 affidavit. Are we there, Chair?
Oh, yes.
Now, I don't know whether the witness does have that affidavit in front of him. Can I read to you what it says?
Yes, you can read it,
please. Paragraph 4, you say, she, referring to Ms. Mengo, reported that the judge president was sending her messages which are not appropriate and that on 14 or 15 November, he imitated how she was walking. Can you hear that?
Yes.
Now, this incident about the JP imitating how she was walking, on her version, occurred, which I've read to you in the complaint, happened on the 15th of November. Not so?
In the report that she gave to me, it was as if it's an incident that happened on the same day. The two incidents happened on the same day. That is between the 15th and the 14th.
But the point I'm making is that on the 14th of November, in the complaint at page 11, which I read to you, that incident of him imitating how he was working happened a day later on the 15th. That's the point. Do you understand?
Her version should prevail because mine is based on a report which I got from her.
The point I'm making is that at least as of November 2024, with reference to the complaint which she had made, as it appears at page 11, paragraph 20, it was clear that in her statement that it had occurred, she had said it occurred on the 15th.
Chair, just to be clear, this page 11 is a complainant statement which she made while she was lodging the complaint. This witness is testifying on the report that she gave him. He doesn't know what she said in her statement, and he was not part of drafting the statement. He is testifying on what was reported to him. There might be differences, because what she reported to him and what she wrote in the statement, he doesn't have any privy to that.
But that is why Mr. Madonsela had to read to him, to the witness.
And he answered it.
Verbatim.
And
Can I just finish? That is why Advocate Madonsela saw the need to read verbatim from the complaint, because he knows that the witness does not know what stands in the complainant's complaint.
Correct.
And that's why he's saying, I'm reading to you what stands in the complaint.
Correct.
Yeah, what's your problem?
The problem is, the witness said, I'm telling you what she reported to me. What she said there, he agrees, it's there in the statement, but he's telling what she reported to him. So he cannot say why there's a difference. So I think the point is made.
Well, I don't know if he asked him, what's the difference? I haven't heard that question. I don't know whether it's building towards it. Where are you, Mr. Madonsela?
I'm here.
I can see you, but
I'm just watching what's happening. Because actually, I wanted to short circuit this whole thing by saying that the statement, the claim, or the complaint that Ms. Mengo submitted with the JSC in January is identical with the statement that was attached to the grievance. But I was forbidden to go to the grievance because it was suggested to me that it was not put to the complaining. So this is a long way to go around saying the same thing. Say it was there in the complaint, it was there in the grievance, identically the same thing. And the point I was trying to make, and I'm making with this through this witness, is that he was aware already in February or even in January, when he deposed to the affidavit in November, that its incident was, as narrated to him by the complainant, occurred on the 15th. That's the point.
yeah.
But if I'm trying to go to the grievance, my learned friend is gonna jump because he'll say it was not put to the complaint.
It may well be that these are points for argument, really.
But I want this witness to comment on it.
Okay, go ahead.
Then we move on to.
Go ahead, please.
The point that I've been at pains to make, and I wanted to comment on it. As at 14 November, or rather 27 November 2024, you are aware of the grievance, you are aware of the complaint that Ms. Mengo had laid against the respondent. That in that complaint and grievance, she had identified the 15th of November 2022 as the date when the effect on me incident occurred. Not so?
Yes, that might be so. I want to say to the commission, I took an oath to tell the truth. The truth I'm telling is, when she reported, she said the incident took place on the 14th or the 15th. The fact that I became aware through other sources of documents that she says the incident took on the 14th is not the reason for me to change what she reported to me towards the end of November.
Thank you for that answer. Just to finalize on that issue, but when you spoke to her, it was around, you said, end of November
2022.
2022.
Yes.
And the incident she was talking about had occurred on her version either on the 14th or on the 15th.
That is correct.
So even as early as that, when the incident was still fresh in her mind, she was not even sure what date it was that she alleged the alleged incident occurred. Not so?
That's correct.
Now,
Sorry, before you leave that point, uh, flowing from all that has been exchanged and argued in the past few minutes, in the midst of all that, you said something on which I need some clarification. Did you or did you not say that, according to you, the imitation of complaints gate, manner of walking,
Yes.
and the effect thing, according to you, you said, and you must correct me if I'm wrong, you said according to you, they occurred on the same day.
That is correct.
I sought the clarification because, according to her, they did not occur on the same day. You don't have to comment on that.
No, I've got no comment on that.
Thank you.
thank you, Chair. Can I ask you to go to page 162 of volume 1? That is the respondent's answers to the complaint, Chair.
So sorry, what page, Ms. Monitor?
It's page 162,
Thank you.
paragraph 35. Now, this is as a result of this complaint, you then had the reason to try to mediate, as it were, between the two of them, not so?
That is correct.
And you're arranging a meeting now between the two of them. Now, the respondent sets out this version, and I want to give a background to it because the real point that I want to take you to is at paragraph 35. Well, it starts really at page 162, paragraph 32. It says, towards the end of the week, 161, paragraph 32. Can I just read it to you aloud?
Yes.
Towards the end of the week of 21 November 2022, I was discharging my functions in the Gqeberha seat of the High Court. I received a call from a colleague who informed me he wished to see me. I inquired from this colleague, what the purpose of the meeting was. I was told that I would be informed of the purpose during the following week when in East London. Then I met with the colleague in the following week in East London. He informed me that Ms. Mengo requested a meeting which would be attended by a certain judges, and that if the meeting did not materialize, she would escalate a complaint she had against me to the Judicial Service Commission. The colleague further told me that the proposed meeting was in relation to two pictures, just underscore that, which he showed me, these being annexure K8 and P. And he says, I was taken aback at this and immediately informed the colleague that I knew nothing about these pictures. I still do not. Let me pause there for a moment. The respondent says, that colleague being referred to is yourself, not so? So, sorry, it's not you, no, correct. But apparently, the pictures that are you aware of this of this event?
No.
Not aware. Now, anyway, it continues that I was initially amenable to attending the meeting, but on further reflection, did not see the prudence in attending a meeting where I would be confronted with pictures that I had no knowledge of, more so in the presence of other persons. I found it disconcerting to learn that the subject of the meeting was two pictures which I bore no knowledge of. I was unable to fathom why Miss Mengo would, in those circumstances, want to confront me with the pictures. Now, this is the important part about the meeting. On 2 December 2022, I was informed by Director of Court Operations, that's yourself,
Yes.
via WhatsApp, that at the proposed meeting, Ms. Mengo intended presenting material that had been the subject of chats. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
And I previously had with her, among which was a screenshot of a message I had deleted. The DCO added that we could discuss the matter on the 4th of December. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
And he would be out of reach over the weekend. And then JP says, I thank the DCO for sharing the information and dropped a voice note appealing for a meeting involving only Miss Mango and me. Can you pause there? Do you agree with that?
I agree with that.
In addition, I dropped the DCO message, and he quotes the message, to the extent that Miss Mango may have been offended by the stuff I shared with her, I would be amenable to a meeting between the two of us where we reconciled any possible difference without involvement of others. Do you confirm that?
I confirm that.
The voice note and written message I sent to the DCO seem to have been accessed only on the 4th of December, as indeed the DCO must have been out of reach. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So it seems to me at that stage, when the meeting was being arranged, the issue that was at hand was the chats and the screen grabs, not so?
That is correct, yes.
Not so much the incident that allegedly occurred on the 14th or the 15th of November.
The focus was on the messages, yes.
Yes. Chair, there is another document I need to introduce to this witness whilst we are here. It relates to, you have arrived. I had asked, we sent somebody to go and print them during the intervening period or the break. They are now here. We were going to screen them up anyway. Screen them up. Can I ask that they be circulated amongst the panel members? And I propose, because this document is going to be used also with regard to other witnesses, that it be accepted as Exhibit 4. Once it has been proved. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Now, Mr.
We need to identify it,
Yes.
but because it hasn't been proved,
Yes.
we can only say
Provision.
provisionally is admitted as Exhibit 4. Provisional.
Provisionally. Ms. Denim.
Just a minute. I'm just making the note because I wanted to hear whether there's an objection first.
I agree that it must be provisional until it has been proven, Chair.
Advocate Butland.
Yeah,
No
I would
problem.
agree. I have no idea where this comes from, if it's up to date.
Yes.
It doesn't
We,
bear
we,
heading
we,
even.
we just provisionally mark it
Yeah.
as Exhibit 4 because to avoid the long description, say that document which was not yet proven all the time, that document which was, so we just provisional Exhibit 4. Right.
Denim. Uh, have you got the document in front of you?
Yes, I do.
The document is a layout plan depicting certain or the floor plan for a building. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see that.
Can I ask you to compare this layout plan or floor plan with what is being streamed here, which you were shown during your evidence in chief, in front of you here? Can you see?
Yes, I can.
If you see the document in front of you has got numbers 12, 13, 15, 16, and 17. Can you see that?
I can see that.
Can you put the document just like that with the numbers on your left?
Yes. With numbers on my
On your left, yeah.
Yes.
And if you look at the document, that plan, it is showing a passage, does it not?
It does.
And the chambers on the left side, on the left-hand side of the passage, it's in fact it's 1, 2 chambers. Can you see?
That is correct.
When you go down further, that passage, right at the end of the passage, it shows another chamber. It's written new judges' chambers. Can you see that?
Yes.
And it's chamber 10.
Yes.
If you turn right, following the passage, there is another office next to chamber 10. Can you see?
Yes, I can see.
And then if you go down that passage, there is chamber 9. Can you see?
Yes, I can see.
Now, just to orientate ourselves, if you look at the picture in front of you here, is it correct that it depicts the passage that starts from chamber, what is called chamber 1, acting judge chamber was 01? Can you see that?
Yes.
Just a minute. We cannot see that. Okay.
Can I proceed, Chair?
And the arrows designate the passage.
The
right?
passage, yes.
Okay. Yes.
Is it correct that this picture, the picture that is streamed here depicts the passage as you view from the position of chamber 1 in the direction of the new chamber 10?
Yes,
Now, to put names to the chambers, is it correct that chamber 10, right, that corner chamber, is actually the judge president chambers?
that is correct.
Now, the starting from chamber 1, the passage from chamber 1, that's chamber. The first door is the door into the chamber of what we call the acting judges. Oh, let me start afresh. For this. Is it correct that if you're looking at the passage from the position of chamber 101, there is a door there?
Yes,
And this streamed picture view is showing the view from the door, looking at the passage that is shown in the picture. Is that so?
that is so, yes.
In other words, we are showing from the door of the passage, we are showing the chambers which are depicted in Exhibit 4, which are chambers on the left-hand side, which are 2 doors, and the chamber down the passage, which is chamber 10.
That's correct.
Now, on the left-hand side of the passage, there are 2 doors depicted in the picture that is streamed. The first one enters into a judge's chamber, first judge's chamber, chamber 1. Not so?
Yes,
The second one enters into the judge's chamber 2.
yes,
And then down the passage, right at the end of the passage, there is a door that is shown in Exhibit 4, but that can barely be seen in the streamed picture. On the left is the door entering Judge President's chambers, not so?
that's correct.
And right at the end of the passage, at the corner there, is something in red. Is it correct that represents a fire hydrant? Right at the corner.
From now, I can't recall. I
Well,
can't
I mean,
recall, yes.
well, the one who somebody else might attest to that. But then, if you turn right, then there will be a door which is in the passage in the direction of chamber 9 that enters into an office next to the JP's chambers, not so?
Yes,
And after that, there is another chamber, which is chamber 10. Well, it's new secretary chamber 10. Can you see that?
yes, I can say that.
And there's also then thereafter chamber 9.
That's correct.
Now, from what you were shown earlier in evidence in Chi, you were shown the passage, only the passage that depicts the direction from chamber 1 to JP's chambers. And so what you see in this footage is the direction of chamber 1 to the judge's chambers.
That is correct.
And
Sorry to interrupt. Looking at the picture there at the end of the passage, are there 2 doors or what? What is there at the end of this passage? On the picture, on the screen.
On the screen, it's not clear what stands there right at the end of that passage.
But is it the same passage then that turns right towards the JP's chambers?
It is.
Okay, thanks.
Just to clarify, Denim, what is depicted in that picture as we see it now is not the door that enters into the JP's chambers. In other words, there's no door directly entering JP's chambers.
No.
In fact, what there is a door on the left of what we see that enters into JP's chamber.
Yes.
At the corner before you turn right into chamber 9. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
And we can talk about inside. I don't know whether you can speak about what is happening inside the walls as they are depicted in the layout plan, but in between the new chamber 10 and the chamber that we see with a floor plan just adjacent to it. In other words, just after the hydrant, there is a wall that separates the chambers, the JP's chambers, chamber 10, and that office, little office. Not so?
Yes.
And there is a door that enters into that little office if one would have turned right in the direction of chamber 10 to enter into that little office.
That's correct.
Chair, might I say more on this later? I just thought it was an opportune moment whilst this witness is here to address that issue. Just to finalize on this witness, Chair, can I just ask you something that you have not testified about that is probably not related to the complaint itself? Is it correct that sometime in 2023, whilst these proceedings, like when the complaint was lodged and there was exchange of documents between the parties and there were decisions by the JSC whether this matter should come to this tribunal or not, whilst those processes were ongoing, the JP's portrait hung in the corridors of the courtroom in Grahamstown were removed at some point.
Yes, that is correct.
Who removed the judge president's portrait in Grahamstown High Court?
Yeah, I don't know what the relevance of the removal of the portrait has to this matter.
And I can't stop him because I don't know what the relevance is. I will only know if he puts the question. Go ahead.
Chairperson, I don't want to I can give the answer out of the record because it will become apparent, it will become important later in the arguments which the claimants and the evidence leader have foreshadowed.
I allowed you to proceed with the question.
Oh, okay. I thought you wanted me to motivate for the question.
No.
Yes, who removed that portrait?
It was later discovered that it was Miss Mengo.
And did you take any measures to correct the situation?
The matter was handled by the court manager and the security manager at the time. My advice when the matter was first reported was that because it's an asset that is missing, the matter should be reported to the police.
So what measures did you take?
I said to the court manager the matter should be reported to the police when it was reported to me. that that photograph is missing.
In other words, is the portrait back where it should be?
It was, the court manager advised me that she kept it somewhere for safekeeping, and she was busy with a process of trying to get frames or some lockable frames on the walls. She has managed to procure that. And then once she did that, she placed everything back on the wall, and she took pictures. She showed me that she has placed those back on the wall. After that, I think at the time Miss Mengo was on leave. Once she came back, the court manager tells me she approached her to complain about the putting up of the photo, and she wanted to get an advice as to what she should do. My response was the photo should be up there because it's not related to this case. Apparently, the court manager asked for an advice from the acting judge president, who advised her that we have to be sensitive. The portrait should be removed. So that is the decision that they took, which is not in line with my advice to the court manager.
Chair, I have no further questions.
Advocate.
I have no questions. Thank you, Chair.
Advocate Patlander.
Thank you, Chair. Just a couple of things. Mr. Kwana, am I saying it right?
Yes.
Thank you. On this last issue that you were asked, can I just let you know this was not something that was ever asked of my client. So she never gave her explanation of what happened with this portrait. But you are correct that it was her that took it down the first time. Isn't it correct that the portrait of the JP was hanging right outside Miss Mengo's office so that as she exited her office every time, it was visible to her? Are you aware of that?
I am aware of that, yes.
Okay. And I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but if Miss Mengo was in fact asked, she would explain that she was so traumatized at having to look at this portrait in the context of having to give evidence here, in the context of a complaint that preceded it, that she could not handle it anymore and she removed it. And she accepts that she did that. But are you aware of that?
That it was traumatizing her. That's what I'm told. She said yes, as the reason for it to be removed.
And are you aware that when she was giving evidence here in January for 2 weeks, she was on leave? You would be aware of that.
Yes, I am.
And when she returned to court after having given evidence, the portrait had been placed back in that position outside her office door. And that is the point at which she approached the court manager to remove it. Are you aware of that?
I'm aware of that.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Krokwana, I also just want to place on record that my client is grateful for you, that you have assisted her and she gave evidence that you had assisted her with obtaining security during this process. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you very much for your assistance. And no more questions, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, you are excused.
Thank you so much.
Advocate Skipper.
Thank you, Chair. As discussed during our tea break, we will not be leading any further witnesses today, as everyone is exhausted after this long week that we had. So we can then stand down until Monday morning, where I will be calling Mr. Neil Naidu, to come and testify.
Can you agree to start at 9:30?
That is in order, Chair.
Thank you. Proceedings are adjourned, and please, you are released to go. Feel free to go because we are going to maybe spend some time here packing our things.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.